Hello and welcome to my short story. Title: Tanya's Resolve. Theme: a young woman caught in a web of criminal conspiracy and betrayal must fight to survive, uncover the truth about her family, and forge her own path to redemption and strength. Chapter 1: The Wrong Alley. Rain slicked the grimy cobblestones of the alley, reflecting the neon glow of the city like shattered dreams. Tanya pressed herself against the damp brick wall, the stench of decay stinging her nostrils. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the silence punctuated only by the rhythmic drip of water. She shouldn't have followed him. But curiosity, a dangerous and often fatal flaw, had overridden her better judgment. Marco, her brother's best friend, had been acting strangely for weeks, secretive phone calls and furtive glances fueling her unease. Now she was witnessing something she couldn't unsee. Marco, silhouetted against the flickering light, was handing a thick wad of cash to a man whose face was hidden by the shadows. The man nodded curtly, then disappeared into the inky blackness of the alley's depths. Marco turned, and for a split second their eyes met. His face, usually so open and friendly, was now a mask of cold fear. He started towards her, and Tanya knew she had to run. Tanya burst from the alley, heart racing, into the bustling street. The noise of the city surrounded her, a welcome distraction. She didn't dare look back, fearing what she might see. Marco's face haunted her thoughts, cold and unrecognizable. Could Marco, her lifelong friend, truly be involved in something illegal? The chilling thought sent shivers down her spine. With every step, doubt gnawed at her. She had to escape, to find safety from the shadows closing in around her. Tanya sprinted towards her apartment above the bakery, the air thick with the scent of fresh bread. Tonight, the comforting aroma felt suffocating, a stark contrast to her racing heart. Inside, her brother Leo waited, worry etched on his face, his voice trembling with concern. "Where were you?" he asked, his eyes searching hers for answers she couldn't provide. Tanya hesitated, doubt creeping in, unsure if she could trust him with her secret. The shadows of uncertainty loomed over Leo, once reserved for Marco, now threatening her peace. "Just out for a walk," she mumbled, avoiding his piercing gaze, feeling the weight of her lie. Tanya lay awake, her mind racing with thoughts that wouldn't let her sleep. The next day felt like a fog, filled with anxiety and paranoia. At the library, she moved like a ghost, shelving books with a forced smile. Every shadow felt alive, as if it held a hidden threat waiting to pounce. She knew she had to act, but fear gripped her heart tightly. Going to the police felt too risky, a dangerous game she couldn't afford. If Marco was involved in something serious, it could endanger her and Leo. Tanya's heart raced as she slipped out of the apartment. She needed answers about Marco. The city was quiet, but her mind was loud with questions. What was Marco hiding? At the dimly lit bar, she spotted him. Marco looked worse than before, trembling and pale. He noticed her approach and whispered, "Tanya, you shouldn't be here." Fear filled his eyes. Tanya pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. She needed to know what was going on. "I saw you in the alley," she said, her voice trembling but firm. Marco hesitated, then sighed. "It's complicated," he said, "and it's dangerous. You need to stay out of it," he warned. But Tanya wouldn't back down. She pressed him until he finally relented, revealing a dark truth. He spoke of gambling debts and a ruthless crime boss named Sal DeMarco. That name shocked her. The man who killed her parents was now involved. Tanya felt a surge of anger and determination. She needed justice. He never imagined he would be forced to run errands for a criminal. Each delivery filled him with dread. Marco's confession hit Tanya hard. Anger and fear swirled within her, but she felt a strange responsibility. She couldn't watch him destroy his life. Confronting Sal DeMarco seemed impossible, but she needed a plan. Tanya began asking questions around the neighborhood. She sought information, determined to find a way to help Marco. With each conversation, she pieced together a plan. Justice was her goal, and she would not back down. Tanya discovered DeMarco was not just a crime boss. He was a ghost. His name echoed in the shadows, feared by everyone in the city. Those who crossed him vanished, leaving no trace behind. The more Tanya learned, the deeper her terror grew. But she couldn't turn back. She was already too involved. Teaming up with Marco, they plotted their escape from DeMarco's grip. They began gathering evidence, documenting his illegal activities carefully. Each piece of evidence brought them closer to freedom and danger. In the dark of night, hope flickered like a dying candle. Tanya and Marco planned to expose a dangerous criminal. They met in a secluded park, knowing the risks. Their hearts raced with fear and determination. Suddenly, gunfire shattered the silence. Marco pushed Tanya down, shielding her from the onslaught of bullets. He was hit, collapsing beside her. Tanya screamed, panic flooding her as she searched for safety. As the attackers fled, she cradled Marco in her arms. His blood stained her clothes, a haunting reminder. Desperation filled her heart. Marco was dying, and she felt utterly helpless in that moment. Marco's eyes were filled with pain as he whispered Leo's name. His body went limp, leaving Tanya shattered. Grief washed over her like a tidal wave. Guilt gnawed at her heart, mixing with a fierce desire for revenge. The truth hit her hard. Leo, her own brother, had betrayed them to Sal DeMarco. Why would he do this? Questions swirled in her mind. What could drive a brother to betray his sister and their shared dreams? Tanya vowed to uncover the truth. She would confront Leo and demand answers no matter the cost. What drives a friend to betray another? Tanya needed answers from Leo. She approached the rundown warehouse, her heart racing with fear and anger. Inside, she spotted Leo with DeMarco's men, counting stacks of cash. The sight of him, so immersed in crime, ignited her fury. Tanya stepped forward, confronting him with a fierce determination. Why, Leo? Why betray your best friend and put our family at risk? His eyes met hers, revealing a mix of guilt and defiance. Tanya braced herself, knowing this confrontation could change everything. Leo stood there, his face a mask of cold indifference. Tanya felt the tension rise. He claimed he worked for DeMarco, promised a share of the profits. Tanya's heart sank. She saw the greed in his eyes, ambition consuming him. Doubt filled her mind. A fight erupted. Words turned to blows. Desperation fueled Leo's attack. Tanya, driven by grief and rage, fought back fiercely. The struggle was brutal. In that moment, family ties shattered, leaving only pain and chaos behind. The fight was brutal and desperate, each blow echoing in the warehouse. Tanya fought fiercely, disarming her opponent but suffering serious injuries in the process. As Leo lay defeated, DeMarco's men advanced, ready to finish Tanya off. In a moment of panic, Tanya grabbed Leo's gun and fired wildly. Her aim was off, hitting nothing but the walls around her. Knowing she had to escape, Tanya left the gun behind. Wounded and alone, she fled the warehouse, heart racing with fear. The echoes of violence haunted her as she ran into the night. Her mind raced with questions, each one unanswered and heavy. Now she had lost everything. Her brother, her friend, her sense of security. The weight of despair was crushing. To her shock, the police were blaming her for Marco's death. She felt the walls closing in around her. Now a fugitive, she was hunted by both the police and DeMarco's men. Fear fueled her every step. In a desperate escape, she found refuge in an abandoned subway station. It was dark and desolate, a perfect hiding spot. As she licked her wounds, she knew she couldn't run forever. A plan began to form in her mind. She had to fight back. She had to take down DeMarco. Not just for Marco, but for her own survival. Tanya felt the weight of injustice pressing down on her. She needed allies to fight back against DeMarco. She approached a disillusioned former lieutenant who had seen too much. His anger fueled her determination. Next, she found a skilled hacker, eager to take revenge. Together, they plotted their next move. Finally, they recruited a streetwise informant. He knew the city's secrets and could guide them through danger. United by their common enemy, they formed a small but fierce resistance. They were ready to fight for justice. They understood the risks ahead. Taking down DeMarco would be a long and dangerous journey, but they were willing to risk everything. Exposing DeMarco was their only path to freedom. DeMarco tightened his grip on the city, hunting Tanya and her allies. They moved from safe house to safe house, always looking over their shoulders. Tanya felt the weight of fear but refused to give in. She realized DeMarco was more powerful than she had imagined. Each day brought new challenges, but she fought for something bigger than herself. Tanya fought for her parents, for Marco, and for everything she had lost. She would not let DeMarco win. Her determination burned bright, fueling her every move in this dangerous game. Tanya and her small group faced DeMarco and his ruthless men. The tension was palpable as they prepared for battle. The fight was fierce, leaving Tanya and her allies battered and broken. They suffered losses that cut deep into their hearts. Each decision weighed heavily on Tanya. She questioned if survival was worth the cost of their humanity. With their numbers dwindling, Tanya knew they had to escape. Running and hiding became their only options for survival. Tanya stood tall, her spirit unbroken despite the challenges she faced. Each setback taught her valuable lessons, shaping her into a fierce warrior. She trained relentlessly, honing her skills and sharpening her instincts. No longer a victim, Tanya embraced her strength and resilience. After 6 months of running, she gathered her allies for one final push. With newfound confidence, they prepared to confront their enemies together. The hacker sent a crucial message to the police captain, signaling hope. Tanya knew this was their moment to reclaim their lives and freedom. In the dimly lit alley, Tanya stood ready for the final confrontation with DeMarco. She clutched the evidence tightly, knowing this was her moment to seek justice. DeMarco and his men loomed ahead, their faces twisted with malice and arrogance. With a fierce battle cry, Tanya charged forward, fueled by her pain and betrayal. The clash of fists and fury echoed through the alley as they fought relentlessly. Tanya faced DeMarco alone, their fight a storm of emotions and raw determination. Every blow she landed was a step closer to reclaiming her lost strength. Exhausted but unyielding, Tanya knew she had to give everything to win. In a world shrouded in darkness, Tanya stood tall against DeMarco's tyranny. She uncovered the truth behind Marco's death, revealing DeMarco's heinous crimes. With courage, she exposed his reign of terror to the world. The battle was fierce, but Tanya's resolve never wavered. Emerging victorious, she felt the weight of her journey. The ordeal had changed her, revealing the darkest sides of humanity. Yet, she discovered her own strength and newfound purpose. The road ahead was daunting, but Tanya was ready to face it. DeMarco and his crew were finally caught by the police. The city breathed a sigh of relief. Tanya stood strong, her heart hardened by betrayal and violence. She felt a new purpose rising within her. Determined to help others, Tanya vowed to fight for justice. She wanted to prevent others from suffering like she did. With the city safe, Tanya felt a sense of freedom. She was ready to embrace her new life. Tanya turned to the camera, urging everyone to like and subscribe. She wanted them to follow her journey. In a dark alley, a police car screeched to a halt. DeMarco stepped out, confusion etched on his face. He spotted Officer Leo and felt a wave of relief wash over him. DeMarco needed to disappear. DeMarco pleaded with Leo to take him back to his hideout. He felt safe with his old friend. But in a shocking twist, Leo pulled out a gun and shot DeMarco without hesitation. After the deed was done, Leo made a call, confirming to his boss that the job was complete. Meanwhile, an unknown man stood in a tall building, staring down at the city, clutching Tanya's picture tightly.